Hello everyone, this is Donny from DonnyLocks.com. Today I'm going to show you how you can send a bill from Google Sheet to the customer through Gmail. And once the customer completes the payment, you will see the updated status in this particular sheet. If you are a business owner from Middle East or any part of the world, if you want to send bills to your customers without any integration or any coding, custom coding, you can just use this automation. From Google Sheet, you can add the invoices, and from here, the action button, you can type send any text like send link now or something like that. Immediately, a bill will be sent based on the values that you put here. And once the customer completes the payment, you will see the real-time status in this sheet. So I'm going to show you how you can achieve this using an automation tool called Pabbly Connect. And I'll be using a payment gateway from Middle East called Tap Payments Gateway. And I'll be using Google Sheet and Gmail too. Google Sheet for adding the invoice and Gmail for sending the link to the customer. Now I'm going to discuss the steps over here. First step is to add your invoice details in a Google Sheet. Second step, this is automatic, okay? Automatic. Sending the invoice from Google Sheet, then sending the link to the customer, automatic. Then once the payment is completed, update the Google Sheet with the final status. This is also automatic. All you need to do is to complete this automation and you can manage everything through this Google Sheet. So you can let me start with the first tool, Pabbly Connect. Pabbly Connect is an automation software from India. It is available for subscription as well as for lifetime, and their lifetime offer is the minimum plan is 349. You'll get 3000 tasks. But if you want to start with a free version, you can do so, and you will get 100 tasks free. So if you want to reach this website, you can go to my website Donny Logs, and you can click on this particular link that you see on the top, the image. You will reach the page where you'll get the lifetime deal. This is Pabbly Connect, and the second tool that I'm going to use is Google Sheet, which I've already opened a simple Google Sheet with simple values over here. And the third is Gmail. We will send a link to the customer's Gmail, and once the customer completes the payment, they'll come back to the page. Now, when the customer enters the payment page, so the payment page is created using Tap Payments. The second point I want to mention is about the payment gateway. Tap Payments offers APIs which you can use in order to create a bill and send it to the customer. They offer sends they offer sending bills via email from their side, but if you want to stop that and send from your side, you can do so. So I'm going to use this API called Create an Invoice API. So API stands for Application Programming Interface. There is a endpoint URL, and you can see the body request. And once you send a request, you will get the link in the response. Okay, I'll show you a simple demo here. I'm going to use the epoch converter to convert date and time into milliseconds. So I've put February as the due date, copy pasted, and I'm going back to the website to put the due date. Okay, and I'm going to send the request now. So when you send the request, you will get order items is empty. So I'm going to add an order object over here, add an object, then okay, fine. So the order object is here. Now let's try. Okay, so since this is the sandbox account, it is showing this account is pending approval. So I'll take a production account. I'm going to copy this curl and I'm going to put it over here. Let me create a new request and I'm going to import it over here. So how do you import? If you're using Postman or Insomnia, you can just copy paste and put it over here, and the body request will be created and it will be copied over here. So let me just reframe this body. So the request is ready. Now I have already used a live key over here, and you can send the request. You will get a real URL to be sent to the customer. So here you go. The invoice is created and the link is available now. So what I'm going to do now, using Pabbly Connect, I'm going to connect this Google Sheet to Tap Payments API, get the link, send it to the customer using Pabbly Connect, and then once the customer makes the payment, I'm going to redirect the customer to a static page called thank you page. So let me open the thank you page for you. I have created a simple static page for you. This is a static page, payment successful, thank you for purchase, and you can check your email and all of the stuff. So the customer will finally reach this page, and also an email will be sent to the customer. These are the steps in a nutshell. So let me open Pabbly Connect. When you log into Pabbly Connect, you can use you will see this Pabbly Connect option over here. Click on this Access Now. That's when you will reach your main dashboard. I've selected a free account. You can see 100 tasks free. So each API call or each action is a task. For example, a connection from Google Sheet to API is a task. From API back to Google Sheet is a task. From API to Gmail is a task. So that's how tasks are calculated. So the first step is to create a workflow, and you can select a workflow name and the folder. For the sake of demonstration, I've already created a workflow called sending invoice links. Okay, and these are the steps in a nutshell. So first, Google Sheet. From Google Sheet, you will call the Tap Payments Invoice API. From there, the link will be sent to the customer, and from there, from there you can get the URL and update the sheet. Update the sheet with the invoice status. Then from there, you can send the link to the customer using Gmail app. Once the payment is completed, you can update the status back on the Google Sheet. So these are the steps that we're going to do, and we have created one more workflow uh, to up, to update the payment status. So this workflow is to capture the payment status from the gateway, which means whenever payment is completed from the gateway, they will send a webhook URL posting. So you have to put the URL over here so that whenever the payment is completed, they will send the complete response to this particular URL. So we're going to use Pabbly Connect to listen for this particular webhook URL response, and from when the response is received, you can get the status and update the Google Sheet. This is how it works. So let me explain step by step. The first step is creating starting with the Google Sheet app. So how to create a new app? You can click on the plus icon, add an app, then select Google Sheet from the list. Then you can select the event as new or updated workshop, sheet row, etc., and you can proceed accordingly. So I've already done this for you. Let me show you how it works. Okay. So I've already connected Google Sheets. You have to click on connected and get this Google Sheet connected with your login credentials from Google. Once it is connected, you will get a webhook URL. So you have to copy this URL and go to Google Sheet. Click on extensions and add an extension called Pabbly Connect Webhook. And from this extension, once this extension is installed, you will see a tab called Pabbly Connect Webhooks. Click on Initial Setup, and you have to copy paste the webhook URL from Pabbly Connect to this particular initial setup. I've already done this. So once you copy this, and you'll also have to mark the trigger column as K, or whichever column you're selecting as a trigger column. So this will trigger the workflow. If you change any values in this column, it will send a response to the webhook URL. That's how it works. Okay. Let me go back to this section and let me show you how it works. So I'm going to send a sample request over here. Send the bill now. You can type anything and click on enter. At that moment, uh, response is sent to this particular step. Okay, so I've already captured the response over here. You can see that the values have already reached Pabbly Connect, and from here you're going to take this to the next step. All the values are available over here. Now you have to call the invoice API. In the invoice, if in order to call the invoice API, you have to choose an app, Pabbly API. So using this Pabbly API, you will be able to call Tap Payments API. So how to do that? There is an option called import curl request. So once you select the app event as execute API request, You can select custom request and click on this import curl. You can go to your Postman, copy the curl from there and paste it over here. When you click on save, all the values will be populated over here automatically. Now, after this API is added, you have to map the values from the previous step to this API. How to do that? Let me show you. For example, you want to update the amount from the previous step. Click on forward arrow mark. You will see the Google Sheet result. From this Google Sheet result, you have to find out the amount that has been sent from Google Sheet. This is how you map the values dynamically. This workflow needs to be done for only one record, and then the automation will work for any record. That's how it works. So we're going to set up the workflow for one row and save the workflow, which means for any workflow, this will work. Okay. Now I want to map the name of the customer from the previous step. Okay. So again, I'm going to click on forward slash. The name of the customer is Nevin. Okay. So Nevin is also recorded here. Then I want to update the currency. Click on forward slash, get the currency from the previous step. Okay, and redirect URL. I have a static page URL over here, thank you page. So I'm going to connect the thank you page as the redirect URL. And the webhook URL, as I mentioned before, we are going to use another workflow to capture the webhook. So I'm going to use this particular webhook URL from Pabbly Connect to initiate the request. So I'm going to put this post URL as the webhook URL, which means once the payment is completed, Tap Payments will send the webhook response to our other workflow, that is connect.pabbly. This particular URL, and the response will be received over here. Okay, and that's how you take it to the Google Sheet update step. Okay, now this is almost done. Let me send the invoice now. Okay, just want to make sure the order amount is correct. Order amount here, order items amount. Let me just hard code the values 48 just for the sake of demo quantity. Then let's see. Let's click on save and send and test request. Okay, let's see how we're going to get the response. Okay, the invoice is created. The invoice link is available. Perfect. So I'm going to save the step, and we're going to move to the next step. That is update the status. I'm again adding a Google Sheet app because the next step is to update the Google Sheet. I click on Google Sheet app. This time I'm going to update the same row on these two particular columns. I have already received the tap invoice number, the invoice status, and all of the stuff. I'm going to update these values dynamically. Okay. So what I'm going to do now, row index. Click on forward slash, go to the previous Google Sheet and find the row index over here too. This is how we identify the exact row of the sheet. Then the next step is to map the values. I have already received the value of the tap invoice number from the previous API call. So click on slash, get the invoice ID from the second step. This is invoice ID, and the status, I'm going to take the status from the previous step, that is the API step, the status. Status is created. So I'm going to update these two values in the Google Sheet. Okay. Let us save and send the test request, and let's watch what happens here. Yes, the invoice ID and the status is updated. Okay. So this step is done. Now we're going to save this and move to the next step. That is send the link to the customer. So I'm going to connect a Gmail app, connect my Gmail account and send emails. Very simple step. Username, sender name, sending email address, and the email address I can populate it from the Google Sheet value. That is the email address of the customer. Recipient email address. Then I have to update the invoice. I'm going to update a dynamic email subject header. I'm going to put the invoice number from the sheet. The invoice number is 1001. Then I'm going to send an email to this customer. Again, all of these values can be dynamically populated. you can get the values like this. Okay, and you are going to send the link to the customer. So how to send the link? Again, get the value from the invoice API. Okay, and send the test request. You should be able to see a successful response. Okay, the message is sent. Okay, so in this stage, what I'm doing here, let's say if I'm able to get the link, I also want to update the status of the Google Sheet as uh, sent to customer. Okay, so the next step will be to update the Google Sheet from the invoice status from created to sent to customer. So in order to do that, I'm again connecting Google Sheet, again draw index 2. I'm just hard coding a text link sent to customer. Okay, because the previous step is successful, I'm going to simply send this test request and watch the Google Sheet to see, okay, this is also done. Now I'm going to check my email. Let me check my email if I received any. Yes, I've received an email saying, hi Nevin, dear Nevin, this is the link. I'm going to make the payment on this particular link. Okay, perfect. So I got the tap payments invoice link loaded on the screen. Imagine I am a customer. I'm going to click on pay and I'm going to make a payment right now. Okay, so Tap Payments is loading their pop-up page with all the payment options in the middle list. So let's say I'm going to use Apple Pay. I click on Apple, and if I put my finger over here, 48 KWD will be deducted from my account. For the sake of testing, I'm just skipping this step, and I'm going to show you my other screen. So once I complete the payment, ideally what happens is this status will change to paid. Okay, so I'm going to mock the final response uh, just like this, the status is being sent from tap payments. What will happen? The status will change to paid. Okay, so I'm going to copy paste this one and I'm going to paste it over here. Okay, and I'm just simply changing the status as paid, assuming I am sending it from tap payments gateway. The status is paid. Okay, so what happens here? At this stage, you need to this workflow is already done. Okay, I'm going to save this and I'm going to close this window. At this stage, you have to open a new you have already opened a new webhook page where you are already waiting for a response. So recapture webhook response. Okay. Then I am going to send the response to this URL from my Postman or Insomnia. So this is the same thing happens when the response is received from Tap. So I'm going to send the request. This request should be available here. When I send the request, Pabbly Connect is waiting for the response from the payment gateway. Assume the customer has already completed the payment. You should be able to see the response over here. I got a response saying response accepted, and I'm waiting for the response over here. Let's see. Yes, the response is received, and you can see the status as paid. So at this stage, I want to go back to my Google Sheet and update the sheet saying that the payment is done. So this is a mock response. I'm going to select Google Sheet, update the existing row, then connect. I've already connected it, so I'm using my existing connection. Then I'll be using the same raw index. So first I need to identify the raw. So I need to identify the raw first. So I'll first, before updating the raw, I'm going to fetch the details of the application. So lookup values is needed to look up for the data. Okay. So I'm going to look up for the raw first using the invoice number. Then I have to update the raw. So the first step is to look up for the raw. So I have used lookup spreadsheet raws v2 and v1. You can use v2 as well. So I have used v1 and I have selected column B. So this is the column that I'm going to search and find the particular invoice number. So I have added the column as B. The lookup value that I need to map it from the webhook that I received from the payment gateway. So in this webhook response, invoice ID is somewhere down the bottom. Yes, here it is, 64. Then I'm going to save and send the request to see if it is found or not. Yes, it is found, and you can get the raw index from here. So this step is to identify the raw index. I'm going to save this. Raw index is available now. Now I can go and easily update the paid status over there. Okay. So the next step is to again use Google Sheet to update the raw. Okay. Now I have update raw. Raw index is available now, so I can simply update the raw index and the status accordingly. So I'll just find the raw index from my previous step. Raw index, raw index. Okay, raw index result is available over here. I'm going to select the raw index. Then the status, I'm going to mark it from my um, webhook, which is paid. Status as paid. Okay, that's end of the cycle. I'm going to send the request, and you can watch this and see the status will be updated as paid. So I'm going to send the status as paid. Click on send and save. I'm going to do this again. Set test request and watch the screen. It's paid. Okay. So this is how you can update the existing row with the final status on the payment gateway. This way you can add any number of invoices and send it to the customer automatically. This is already done. I'm going to save this request. Done. So I have created two workflows for this particular automation, and you can see it over here. Two automations. One is to send the links, and one is to get the payment status from the gateway and update the sheet. So that's it from my side. If you have any questions or doubts, please feel free to reach out to me. I'll put the contact information in the description and also the link to get this Pabbly Connect for lifetime. If you have any doubts, feel free to contact me. Thank you. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.